Hello and welcome back to Talkin Pitchside. I'm your host PJ with my co-host Tony, as always, here to cover all things in Week 8 of the MLS upcoming. Our predictions, who we think is gonna rise to the top. It's spoiler alert. I'm just gonna keep picking San Jose, and I'm just gonna keep picking RSL because they're fun. That's who I'm watching right now. So, but before we get into that, Tony, let's get into some quick hitter Concacaf games that happen in the midweek. I'm not going to cover US Open Cup. Great. I mean,
Boo.
MLS teams aren't taken seriously, but the amount of MLS teams that are like losing in this Open Cup
Yeah.
is
Well, I
crazy.
mean, it's like the two teams that you'd expect, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, SKC losing 3-0 was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was like,
To
come
be fair
on,
to them,
guys, you
all
need
their academy
something.
kids just play for their first team because they don't sign anybody. So
Right.
that
It's
is,
fair.
it's they're basically playing equal talent in that game.
Yeah.
But let's get into CONCACAF specifically. We'll talk about the Tuesday games first. We had LAFC who went in that one up 3-0 on aggregate. Take care of business on the road, which you can't always say about MLS teams going to Mexico. So want to give them credit. It was about as how you expected that game to go. The Cruz Azul was going to play chippy. They did. And in the end, LAFC was okay with that. They were played really well defensively, and that's been the identity of this team for the most part this season. Is a really well defined defensive line, and that's how they played again in the midweek. And then, of course, the big win was Nashville beating Club America 1-0 on the road. After, I think most people, I mean at least me, thought, okay, they drew at home. This is set up for failure on the road. And then go to Club America. I think first MLS team to ever beat Club America at their home stadium ever,
Hmm.
which is a big
Wow.
deal. And I also like there was just a couple like firsts involved with this. So I want to give Nashville their credit because that is a tough place to go and win. I mean, if not one of the toughest places to go and win as an MLS team with how we're structured right now. And overall, the Tuesday games, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's true. Both are really big deals, I think, in their own respect. LAFC, I mean, you mentioned with both MLS teams going to Liga MX teams is usually like a lamb walking into the slaughter. But the most impressive part was, like you said, PJ, with LAFC and Cruz Azul, you kind of knew how this one was going to play out, especially with the goal differential like that. Cruz Azul was going to be breathing down LAFC's neck. And only concede one there, I think, is a massive proof of concept for this LAFC defense that has already had a pretty good season so far. Really long streak entering the season before even conceding a goal. So I think it's more. It's just another feather in the cap for that defense specifically and how that team works. And they outlasted Cruz Azul, and so now it's on to Luca, which is going to be a crazy
Mm-hmm.
a series there because those are, I mean, right now, pretty much two of the best teams each league has to offer. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then for Nashville, like you said, all the firsts involved with that. Not the cherry on top, but to add a little bit more to it to make it even more impressive, Sam Surge was hurt, didn't travel for this
Yep.
game. So, Nashville did it without one of their DPs and was able to just rip off an upset. I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Club America fans will say that they were sleepwalking at home, but I think this was about Nashville running out there and frustrating. And I mean, man, it's just been a great week for them, rotating and winning an MLS play, having your starters come out and pull this off on the road in Mexico. I mean, both of these teams have a lot of reason to feel like they're flying high.
I mean, even if they're sleepwalking, that's still on Nashville for taking advantage of that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right.
it was a great Tuesday. We can't say the same about Wednesday. We had both the teams that were going into it set up in a tough spot. So you had Seattle who were down 2-0 on aggregate after playing at Tigres. They lose or they win 3-1, but they draw on aggregate. I think it was away goals that ended up clinching that one for them for Tigres. So Seattle lose that one. Great effort from Seattle. I mean, I don't want to gloss over it too much, but it just got to a point where it was so much to overcome. And once, especially when Tigres scored that early first goal, you were like, oh God, here we go. Um, we had like an all time flop in that game. Might have been like the highlight of that one. Where
Yeah.
do you remember what's his name? It's the guy Matt Miazga called Too Small on a free.
Linus. Yeah,
Yeah,
Diego
Diego
Linus.
Lainez. Thank you.
Yep.
And I don't remember who in Seattle was legitimately Tony like walked up and did a tap
Yeah.
on his shoulder, like a 2 finger tap on shoulder,
I think it
and
was
he like
Nuhu.
fell to
Yeah.
the ground crying. Like it was like I think Twelman tweeted it was like this is the stuff that makes it hard when people are like, why should I get into soccer
Yeah.
and like
Right.
when I see this, so that was tough. And then you had LA Galaxy just get smoked at home 3-0, which was tough to watch. I mean, I think I said after the last game, like 4-2 was like defensively not
Mm-hmm.
great, but you could make the case like you're going back home, so you could win a game by 2. Never were in this game.
No.
Just never were in this game. Toluca are showing why they're playing so well in Liga MX right now and why they're one of the favorites to win this competition now, going forward. So pretty dominant effort. More of what we're used to watching in CONCACAF at this stage of the competition. But like I said, I will take it 2-2. I will take 2 losses, 2 wins, move on. Gives us a good chance to have an MLS team in the final.
So do you think Toluca checked out of their hotel rooms, or are they going to keep the same ones for when they come back to LA in like a week? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
they're like, you think they put like the thing on the door? Is like, don't even clean it. Don't
right?
even
Yeah,
clean
exactly. They're like, oh yeah, we know we're going to be back. Don't you worry.
it.
Actually, no, they weren't prepared for LAFC holding on. They probably trusted Cruz Azul to get business done. But yeah, this was the downside. I mean, Seattle. I mean, it's great that they played really well at home against that Liga MX team. I mean, hey, this is League's Cup winners, Seattle Sounders, right
Say
here. You know,
one
they
of
know how to beat
the only.
Liga MX teams at home. You know, so that's part of it. It sucks with the away goal thing. That's what is the tiebreaker
Oh,
is.
I
You
keep
know,
forgetting that they left it in this competition too, because
yeah,
when I saw that it was 3-3, I was like, oh, we're gonna get extra time. This is gonna be great. And it was like, wait, no, the game's over.
right,
Great. Yeah.
right. I I kind of get it, and sometimes I feel like it takes the wind out of sails. But what it's preventing is kind of like what you said. Like, so how many more games would have gone to extra time, and now all these players got a midweek game where now they're playing, 120 minutes,
Don't care.
and uh, no rest for
I-
the
It
weary. Just,
no, I
yeah.
mean, Champions League has gone away from it. It's really harsh on a team who just had a bad day, and like like I've watched it, and trust me, I've been the benefit at like I've been on the good side of it with Tottenham at one point where we had it against Man City when we went on the Champions League final run where I don't think we deserved to move on at all, but it was just by some miracle there was an offside and we had more away goals when we played them in the first leg. So it was just
Yeah.
it it's tough. You just hate to end it because you feel like as a player you played so well that day. If you were the one that was like came back, but you just had allowed one like fluky goal, even if it is like a fluky goal in a game, and it's like
Hmm.
just because of a random own goal or a deflection, we're the ones going home. So I don't know. I mean I get it, but I also I feel like I'm getting robbed of more football.
Yeah, I get that. I just think it's more of the alternative, or maybe not the alternative. Not this. I mean, everybody's going to play this way, but like you, I think that it shells up, or like it just sends out the away team, right? They're going to be more on the front foot, so it kind of shells up the home team. But then you counterbalance that with saying, well, you're at home, you want to light up the stadium, you want to get the fans going, and so I think it kind of acts as like a little bit of a catalyst in how these games move along. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd also listen to the argument that like it's net neutral across the two games anyways. It just flip flops, and how it looks is how it looks. So I get that too.
Yeah.
But hey, it's the reason that Nashville got through against Miami, and now they're
Yeah.
they're dancing in the semifinals. So
Totally.
there's purpose and reason for it. But yeah, rip LA Galaxy. We never believed in you. Um,
Never.
never, never once. Bummer, Seattle. If Seattle would have won, what would have been nice about that is that would have confirmed an MLS team in the
Yeah, I know.
final. So that sucks. But we're represented on both sides, so fingers crossed.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, it'll be I think you have potentially the two best teams in the MLS right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still left in the competition. So I think if you were to think like we want our best chance to win it, that you've probably got if you Miami now that Miami's out, like talent wise, you've got the two best options for them.
Right.
Okay, well let's get into some games here, and I'm gonna go out of order, Tony, because there was a headline
Hmm.
that really took over. Actually, they don't even have a game this week, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna go out of order. There is a game tomorrow, right?
There is
Vancouver
Friday Night Football.
Friday night. Yeah, we got Friday night back, so that'll be fun.
That's
I will,
nice.
I will be tuned in for that. Probably for the first 15 minutes, and then that game will be over. But
I can't believe you
let's
make
get
it to
into the out of
10:30.
order here. The big news that struck the MLS this week, and that was Mascherano out as Inter Miami's head coach. We'll play this into the preview here for Colorado Miami, but I need immediate reactions because this was something that it popped up. It hit our chat immediately. It was like,
Yeah.
what in the world? You think immediately because this is, I mean, now two coaches that have left during seasons that, or like after a season that have gone well, and yes, Miami was off to a rough start to start this year, and it really, like you said last week, it looks like what they did the previous season, and I wanted to give Mascherano some grace because the amount of new faces they've brought in every year, it's like it's going to take time for some of these guys to just get acclimated as a team. Now, having Messi on your team makes that acclimation process usually a lot easier, but it it was mind blowing. I couldn't believe it. And then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, what happened? And now we've gotten some trickle news that has come through, and I think Tom
Hmm.
reported just today that
Yeah.
there was a big fight after the previous game, and I was it with Messi, Mascherano with
I
Messi.
don't think it said what I don't think Tom said.
I think it was inferred that he may have been involved, and it was with the ownership as well. Like there was a lot of like arguments that happened this after this last game, and I think Mascherano's been in the news over these 2 years, or not even 2 years, a year and a half as a head coach for Miami, like having little disputes like this. So I think it's just got to a point something must have been said, or like
Yeah.
he must have been like in my mind, I'm imagining him being like, "Oh, if you think anyone can do this, like bring in somebody else," and like it just would end up being like this thing where it's like, "Okay, we're not dealing with this. Let's move on." It's gonna be the number one job in the MLS. Like you want to go coach that team, so uh, I guess potentially now that I'm thinking about it in my head, it's like now you've had two pretty good coaches that have performed
Yeah.
there leave in 3 years. So it comes with a media circus. It comes with all of everything with Messi, but you still get to coach Messi, and you're still coaching the most talented team in the MLS. Like it's going to be a job that is going to be sought after. I'm thinking of people in my head. I'm like, can you imagine if like they just were like Wilfred Nancy, come on down, and like this team just got Wilfred Nancy
Pochettino
put
leaves the
on.
national team.
Yeah, like
That's
so there. It will be interesting to see who fills this void. But it was just a bombshell, and kind of speaks to like we've talked about it. We've all had higher expectations for Miami so far this year, and they have let us down. And they're still sitting like third in the East, so it's not like they're horrible. But I think with the talent they infused in this team, they expected more, and it will be interesting to see who fills this job. If Messi's just going to be a player coach, which is I want that to happen more than anything in this world.
mm,
It would be hilarious. But I'm really on the serious standpoint. I'm interested to hear more, like what happened. I'm sure it will leak eventually, and then also who's going to fill the spot as the head coach, and inevitably win an MLS Cup by the end of the year.
yeah. I just would love to imagine in my head, like kind of like you said, like he was like, okay, well, if I'm so terrible, then get someone else to do it. Then, like, kind of bluffing, and then they're like, okay, well, you're fired.
Yeah,
Like, and he's like, oh crap, like I
okay,
didn't mean it like
we're
that.
going to do a pick a fan contest every single
Yeah, right.
game, and then you get to come on down and coach Inter Miami.
Yeah, see, try your luck. But I mean, just like you said, this is Messi's third coach now since being here. Also, he's on his third sporting director as well. That's part of it that is kind of more in the background, but a lot of turmoil, a lot of change with this Miami team since Messi's been here. And that's not super surprising, to be honest. I mean, like the timing of this was shocking, but um, every now and then you hear the reports, people talking about Miami after they leave Miami and calling it a circus, saying Messi runs everything, Messi's dad runs everything. Um, I this is just another like kind of data point that reinforces that. And it seems kind of almost really hard not to believe at this point that that's what's going on here.
Yeah, and it's weird because this was the one guy you thought like maybe
Right.
prone to that because he was one of Messi's teammates and good friends. Like, and then you just have I don't know. It's strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, and now they're going to go into this game. Miami's already good enough. Now they get a dead manager bump on top of that.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Rip Colorado.
In
That
front of like 70,000 people, and it's,
all
it's
jokes
gonna be
aside,
bad.
though, I mean to get in the game, like this is I'm really excited for this game because I think
Yeah,
you're going to see one of the highest XG totals like combined of the season in this game because both these teams all they want to do is score,
yeah,
and both these defenses are prone to letting goals. And I just think it's going to be a fun watch. I hope Colorado's up for it because they have been one of my guilty pleasures early on this year to watch them go at it and figure themselves out. And I think there's a lot of names that we kind of were just like mild on coming into this year in the attack. And all of a sudden now you've got like Navarro scoring, you got Yepi scoring, you've got Paxton Aronson coming along. And this offense is clicking. Of course, they're just going to need to outscore everybody. And that formula against Miami, of all teams, usually isn't great. But I think it's going to lead to a great neutral watch for us fans going into this game. And I think Miami wins this game. I think it's going to be close. I really do. And I also think it's going to be a very back and forth game. Like you're going to see counterattack after counterattack in this game.
yeah. I am currently Googling Argentina elevation to see if Colorado is gonna screw up Messi here. Um, oh yeah, he's
maybe
toast.
maybe it's just even better. Maybe like it's like he kicks the ball and now he's like, oh, I can do wonders with this ball that I was
Yeah,
not able to do
maybe
anywhere else.
Argentina's average elevation is 1,900 feet, and they're playing in Mile High Stadium.
Has he
So
played there yet?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Um, I mean, I don't think he's played
maybe
at
his
Salt
first
Lake
year.
either.
No, it maybe, but
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure of that. I can double check. But
it's yeah.
the
Go
point
on.
being, that part's going to be kind of interesting to watch. I think you're right. This is going to be a wide open game, but I think where Colorado has a chance is probably at the end, like that a late surge,
Mm-hmm.
where they got the lungs, and that kind of seems to be. I mean, that's when Miami imploded at home against Red Bulls, but especially that defense when that. Man, I'm blanking. I feel like I'm at elevation right now. No, when those subs, that depth gets tested in the back, I mean, that's when mistakes happen. That's when 17-year-olds score on you. Um, that's the problems that Miami's facing right now. They had their defense figured out last year. Back to the drawing board. I don't think it's going to get fixed overnight. I don't know anything about this interim manager in Hoyas or what his ideas are with this that he would do differently than Mascherano. But I'd have to think that they're probably, if anything, what they really should do is be a little bit more pragmatic. Miami should be. If you get a little bit more defensive coverage, your stars are your stars. They're going to figure it out. Messi can obviously score 1v4. Like, they can figure that out. So I wonder if that's the big thing with the dead manager bump is you just don't know how they're going to throw their new look at you. And you can't really prepare for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I like Miami on the road on this one, but I could see this like being like, I don't know, like maybe like 3-0 and then 2 garbage time goals for Colorado that like make it kind of squeaky bum time for the last like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
Miami comes away.
I think it's either an early surge or a late surge from Colorado in this game. I think I
Mm,
could see it both ways. I could see them punching Miami in the nose early or coming on late. I think the middle of the game is going to be controlled by Miami. It's just going to be when that adrenaline's pumping early and when the lungs affect the game late. I think is
yeah.
when Colorado could strike. So it will be interesting. And
And
I mean, at any point, this Colorado attack can counter you. And when Falcone's involved, there's a counterattacking option. So
And I'll
we'll
crack
see.
open the history book for you. These two teams have only played once before, but that was in 2024. So not,
Ever?
yeah, only once.
Hmm.
Just opposite conference, and
Well, they changed
Miami being kind
scheduling.
of new.
I know it's
Yeah.
different now, but
Messi came on at halftime and scored, but they ended up tying 2-2. And this was in Miami,
okay.
not in Colorado. Um,
So
Leo
Messi's never
Campana
dealt with.
starting at striker. So, yeah, a different look here for sure. Diego Gomez was still there. Busquets also came off the bench.
Mm,
Alba came off the bench. Um,
R.I.P.
yeah, right. The glory days. I'm trying to see what day this was. This is April 6th. So they may have had CONCACAF that they were juggling as well, and maybe that's why they rotated like that. But there you have it on this day in history.
Messi's never dealt with the air in
Never.
Colorado.
This is
So,
unprecedented, folks.
well, must watch TV. Uh, okay, let's get into some other games here. Quick hitter. We'll do Friday Night Football really quick. We both have Vancouver. I'm just gonna answer that for Tony. Vancouver. This feels like this one could be over quick. Like squish SKC within the first 45 minutes of this game. I'm gonna go 3-0. I just think the Vancouver at home is a machine, and I'm not gonna pick against them. And SKC is that bad.
um, the it's our first matchup of the weekend, and this is the blowout of the weekend, in my opinion. This is the coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb for, I mean, like, it's Vancouver versus Sporting Kansas City in a vacuum. Don't overthink it, especially Vancouver at home. Additionally, Sporting Kansas City, like we mentioned, just played an Open Cup, lost to his USL team 3-0, and they didn't really rotate that game. Like Sporting Kansas City, and they had a little bit, but they kind of went for it, and that's how down bad Sporting Kansas City is right now. Um, it's not looking good for them. So children, hide your eyes. This could get ugly.
Yeah, they might not be watching after that midweek game, so I think SKC might just have the
That's
TVs
true.
off.
If there's any fans left.
Yeah. Okay, let's go into Saturday's games here. Early game, Toronto's addicted to 1 p.m. games. I don't know what Toronto did to the MLS, but why MLS like you will only play at 1 p.m. at home. They're playing Austin at home. I this game's tough, man. These two teams I don't feel great about right now in Toronto and Austin. Um, I just think this is gonna be a low scoring game. I mean, Austin's coming off losing the midweek as well,
Yeah.
and they are also coming off, I think, not winning their last 4 or 5 games, so that they've looked rough. Toronto has been so hit or miss at times. I know that their last 5 actually looks okay. They just haven't looked like pretty at all times in these games, and they haven't played the best competition in these games. For teams that have started off this year slow. I mean, they're at home. I'm going to go Toronto. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it could be 1-0, 2-1, but I think Toronto gets all 3 points.
I'm right alongside there with you. Um, Key note on that Austin on the Austin loss in Louisville. So it's quite a bit of travel for Open Cup in an early round. But Facuna Torres, Uzuni, Jaden Nelson, Brendan Hines Ike all started, and I think got lengthy minutes in this one. So then now back on the road up in Toronto. That's just
They can't even score in that game. Like,
I know. I
it looks
know.
rough in that.
I was gonna say, like, we thought we had a breakthrough moment with Azuni against the Galaxy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then they can't do it. So I don't think any reason to overthink it. I do think, though, I mean, to your point, a lot of the hot and coldness with Toronto, I think they're still kind of learning who they are. Josh Sargent is having his moments, but I think he's still trying to understand how he kind of fits in this whole system as well. And I think it just leads for some inconsistency, and hence you get the Toronto that honestly that their darker days are behind them in the Italian era. But I mean, they have already gone through so much heartbreak just in the season. Last minute against FC Cincinnati conceding a goal. Last minute against crap, I'm blanking, but at the very end, Red Bulls, they drew at home, last second conceded as well. Like they've just a lot of deflation in very little time. So I think that Toronto's going to pull this one out, and it's only if Toronto doesn't believe in themselves that they wouldn't get a result.
I think Georgie's back for this one, right? He should be back. Am I wrong?
I don't know that. I haven't seen anything. I
Well,
can.
they need Josh Sargent to get going. I mean, they spent all this money on him. They need to get him rolling, and Georgie playing is a big part of that. So they
Yeah,
need that connection to reconnect. I guess the U.S. men's national team connection there. So I think Walker may be out again too.
yeah. I
So
think Walker probably out. I mean, Mihailovic's was pretty serious because it was a pelvic stress fracture. So I'm not sure that I would expect to see him back. I'm
okay.
trying to see if FOTMOB has a early May. So
Yeah,
he's probably
I
a
mean
few
the
weeks
defense is
out.
gonna have to play well. There's gonna be no real connection there getting to the ball to Josh Sargent consistently, so that's gonna be tough. So they need to find a
Hmm.
ways to get him the ball and get him in space, because he's not necessarily a creator. He needs to be fed the ball,
Right.
in the box. So we'll be looking out for that. Moving on though, we've got Montreal at home against Red Bull. Red Bulls. We've got Montreal dead manager bump, and I don't think they
Plus,
get one.
we
I don't
got
think they
proof
get
of
one.
concept with Montreal over Red Bulls, though.
They've killed too many managers over the past 10 years. You don't get it anymore. Like you ran it out. Like it's dead. That bump is dead for them. I'm gonna go Red Bulls on the road. I just I saw them do it last week against Miami. I think they're going against Montreal side, which they are going to be able to get even more opportunities to score. And I still love these young guys on this team. I do. I think what they're doing is going to build up a future for this club, and I think they keep rolling against Montreal.
Hear me out. I'm calling draw here.
Ooh.
Um, I mean, Montreal just came into Red Bull's house and throttled them like a month ago. Like it was not even that long. Um, I think that what the Baby Bulls have been doing has been really good. I mean, I think it's got some real guts on Michael Bradley to be benching Choupo-Moting for an 18-year-old, and it seems to be for the most part paying off. I just think that I mean, when you look at the result at Miami specifically, I think that this was a team that um, Miami's not a high press team. You're just not going to get the same kind of production that you'll see in pressing, that is, than you'll see in Montreal. And I think that it speeds up the game in a different way for the Red Bulls. That now that I've kind of sat on that a little bit, like maybe that was an anomaly of result, but I think at the same time, like part of the immaturity or just needing the experience was like when you get pressed like that, you get a little bit less time to make your decisions. You get a little bit less time to build out how you want to, and you just can't find your groove. And so I think that Montreal is like maybe the one team that is going to kind of upset your rhythm like that a little bit. And well, I mean, I guess you could argue like Philly or someone too, but I think that's kind of a lot of the reason behind why had that shock result. And I think that Red Bulls are a little bit more ready for that now, but it's on the road. In Open Cup, they played against Pittsburgh, and they had a lot of the main guys play in that one too. Forsberg was in there, Mehmeti was in there. So those kind of names are on short minutes versus Montreal. It'll be fresh. I just kind of think that this is like got like 1-1 written all over it, but it's not going to be the blowout that we just saw a month ago.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Red Bull's talent. I'm just looking at talent versus talent, and I like that their talent a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
It,
Yeah.
it's tough watch for Montreal fans right now. Well, Tony, I was about to say let's move on to some better teams here, but we've got Atlanta at home against Nashville. We're getting them out of the way. Just get these ones out of the way early. Atlanta at home against Nashville. I know Nashville played midweek. I don't care. Nashville has enough talent to score goals despite playing in midweek like they've shown all year, and Atlanta can't score goals. So that's my in-depth analysis right now with these two teams, and
Wow.
I think Nashville is able to win this one pretty easily. I think it could be like 2-0 even on the road. I don't believe in what Atlanta's got going right now.
I think that for this, I'm gonna go
It's gonna
draw.
be rotated. It's probably gonna be rotated.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is Nashville just proved with a rotated team they could still
Beat
win.
Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I think I'm gonna go draw here. Um, it adds up too much when you get to the back end of the 3 games a week on the road. Even though it's kind of close, I get it, but I think that Atlanta's going to get a little bit something out of this. I can't imagine them winning, but I do think that there is a draw in this. I think Nashville's worn down a little bit. Atlanta did have Open Cup midweek. They rotated heavily, beat their USL team, just fine. I trust them in going for it, and I think Moranchuk was back in that Open Cup game where he featured for a little bit, so
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that he's available in this matchup as well. That helps their odds a little bit, which is in its own way kind of a depressing thing to say about Atlanta just because of like
Yeah.
kind of what he's supposed to be, but he's also the only guy that's scoring, and there's that back and forth. But no, I think that there's a point here for Atlanta. I just think Nashville's too worn down, and it's kind of they're a victim of the moment. They could be celebrating CCC or looking forward to the next matchup because that comes up quick. I don't think it's next week, but the week after. So
Yeah.
it happens.
Totally. Well, we'll see. Let's see if Atlanta's got it in them, because I don't believe it. Moving on here, we've got FC Cincinnati at home versus Chicago. Chicago team that's good at some results lately. They haven't been scoring well, but their defense has been playing great recently. They shut out Atlanta, they shut out Nashville, and now they're looking to do the same to Cincinnati on the road. Um, Gonna be a tight one. I was telling you before the game. I don't even know if I'm going to this game because there's supposed to be thunderstorms there all night. So we'll see if this game even happens. But I don't know. You're not gonna have Kevin Danke if you're FCC in this one. So you're already looking at backup striker for him. I think it's a low scoring game. Like I don't think either of these teams are prolific offensively. I'm always gonna pick my team, and I think the only way they win this one is honestly like 1-0. And I don't feel great about that with our defense. So it's going to be a close one. If I was unbiased, I'd say draw. I think this has shared points written all over it, but FCC desperately need wins right now. They need to get something rolling, and they're going to be playing with a bit of desperation, if I were to say so myself. So we'll see. I don't know. Neither of these teams are like just clicking on all cylinders right now. So I think you could have a lot of different scenarios happen in this one.
Yeah, I think that big question here is Kuipers if he's going to be available. We have not seen him play for Chicago in over a month, and right now the back line of FC Cincinnati is a little bit of a revolving door due to suspensions and injuries and such. Because I think you got Miles back, but now Matt's officially out. So I just think that there's a little bit of that continuity stuff that a guy like Kuipers could tear apart. But if he's not available, then that makes this game really interesting. I think that Bamba and Zinkernagel, I think they're going to have plenty of time on the ball. I think they're going to have plenty of opportunity to create danger. But, I mean, in a three-back system, if assuming that's what Cincinnati's going to throw out here, they might not be able to get close enough to, like, take that shot themselves. And that's where it's like, okay, where's your target guy at? And if it's not Kuipers, how much do you trust him? So that's where I kind of see that there's a sliver of hope for Cincinnati on this one. I'm actually going to take them at home. I'm going to give them the win. I know I've been kind of critical of them because it just has been a down season, but I think they get the win at home here. The other part of this, too, is I think that Echenike is going to be a hero in this one. And he has to be. That's where it pivots a lot, too. Chicago's defense, oddly, been kind of like sneaky good. And Kevin Danke out on red card, where you can use Jabari for hold up play, but Chicago attacks with their outside backs. They run crazy on the wing. So giving that space to Echenike, I think is what's going to do damage to Chicago. So we'll see. And Chicago had an Open Cup game midweek as well. So I think they were somewhat rotated, but point still stands. On the road again, I like Cincinnati.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I can tell you right now, Cincinnati's offense looks good, and there's going to be a lot of talk coming out of FCC fans
Yeah, if they
about
do.
Kevin Danke.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it looks. It'll be fun seeing some of these young guys get a chance. I think you're seeing that all across the MLS, and I think it'd be cool to see some FCC attacking young guys get a chance here.
Yeah.
New England at home versus Columbus. Dude, this game could end 45,000 different ways. That's the
Yeah.
toxicity of these two teams. Like, you just don't know what you're gonna get. Abu Ali injury is just absolutely brutal, and Columbus have looked really rough under Rydstrom. And you're feeling the losses in the midfield in this offseason, and the attack hasn't clicked. Diego Rossi is just doing everything he possibly can to keep them like alive in any shape.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know. I can't pick Columbus on the road right now. That's just not a team I believe in. The same thing with Cincinnati. Both those teams, I view them the same way. At home, I can see a scenario, but on the road, I don't believe in these teams, even against a team like New England, who can be so up and down.
I think the game changer here is going to be, or maybe not the game changer, but the interesting thing is going to be how does Columbus line up? If Abu Ali's out, do they change formation, try and solidify some of the defensive woes they've had, maybe put Rossi where he excels, which is a little bit more centrally, or kind of second striker, false nine type areas. It's just going to be, is Redstrom going to be flexible? How are they going to set up now that one of your main man is out? Are you going to just try and force the same system and plug and play a different striker instead of Abu Ali? Or does it get a little bit more back to the drawing board? I think that's what I'm interested in this for Columbus, because they're going to have to figure out what life after Abu Ali looks like. Just unfortunate, but it's what it is. Without him for probably the remainder of the season, that's what they got to figure out. So that's what I'm watching here. New England, can they burst the bubble? Like it's Columbus is not in a good spot right now. But I've lost faith in them kind of quickly. So I'm gonna pick Columbus on the road. This is gonna be at home. Columbus is at home, and this is gonna be a mascot game for Abu Ali. So
No, Columbus on the road.
oh, they are on the road. Sorry, I
Yes.
was turned around. Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry, Crew fans. This is a draw. You just gonna
I'm like, what, you're picking them on the road? Holy crap.
no. Well, this is gonna be so funny when we meet back next week and be like, I should have stuck with that. No, it's a draw. It's a draw.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll end it there, so we can just stick to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to consider it anymore. Um, Moving on, we have Eastern Conference matchup here in NYCFC versus Charlotte. Two teams that need bounce back wins and need some better performances after last week. NYCFC is on a bit of a skid here after their hot start. They need a desperate win at home, and I think they're going to get it. I think that this is a good bounce back opportunity. Charlotte's another team I just can't get a read on really this year. Some weeks you watch them and you're like, this is one of the best four teams in the East. And then some weeks you watch them and you're like, this isn't even a playoff team.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what they are. Of course, the Zaha drama is still going on. Who knows how that's gonna end? Like you said, I think you said last week, his wife's like, "We're gonna miss you guys in 2 months."
Only a month left.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go NYCFC. I just believe in their foundation just a little bit more than Charlotte's right now. Despite even the rough little patch here, I think this is a good bounce back opportunity.
Yeah, I think I want to trust it too. But I'm not. Am I just picking all draws this week? I just like that. I went too early
Feels
on
like
the draws.
week 8 feels like a good draw fest. Like,
Yeah, it's just
we're getting close to the World Cup. Like,
everything's so scrambled. All these competitions, and I don't. Because you're right, it's hard to get a good read on Charlotte. Like I was kind of like thinking, man, I'm disappointed in Charlotte, and then I look back at their games, and it's like, okay, they lost by 1 goal to Nashville. They beat Philly. Okay, that didn't age super great. Crushed Red Bulls, tied Miami. Like they do have a little bit on their resume. So I don't know if I can just walk right over them. But I think on the road is probably a different story. I think everything that they've played on the road has been pretty bad. At home, they've been okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to base my prediction pretty much heavily off of that. Say New York City's going to get the result just because they need it, and Charlotte sucks on the road. So there's your analysis. That's why you tune into this podcast, right? That's
Well,
groundbreaking.
you want to hear lack of analysis. These next two games, all I'm asking you for, Tony, is just give me score prediction because
Oh, God.
I think that's all these two matchups deserves as of right now. No, it's not a knock, but just some
Yeah,
better
yeah.
games I want to get to here at the end and a good timing wise. So if I had to ask you how Orlando Houston's going to end, two teams that haven't really figured it out really on this year, I'm going to go Houston on the road. I just believe in them more, despite even the frustrations they've given me early on this year. I just think Orlando's defense is that bad. And I don't think the Columbus thing was a blip because their best player got hurt in the game.
Yeah. Um, Robin Johnson's the linchpin for me for Orlando on this one.
Injured again.
I I'm not sure I've seen anything. I'm trying to look right now to see if there was anything on him as far as leaving the game, which I don't think there really was. So, and I don't think he played in Open Cup, but that's Open Cup, so that's a big mystery there. I think this is. I'll just. You said only score, so we'll say 4-4. Just gonna be just
Okay,
madness.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
And then Philly at home versus DC.
Oh my
Of
lord.
course, Philly coming off their first points of the year. I'm going to go draw. I think this is just shared points written all over it.
Philly.
Ty Brebo gets another goal.
Ooh, the revenge goal. What happened to him? He has not been playing. Um,
I thought I saw that he may be back. Maybe I'm wrong, but
thigh injury mid-May. So,
oh, okay. Well, from the spirit beyond, he will give it to someone else.
Philly 3-1.
Yeah, I was about to. Now I want to change my pick, but I'm gonna ride with it. I'm gonna ride with
Yeah.
it. I said
Okay.
I said pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about this game. Dallas at home versus Galaxy. Galaxy. They look more like last year's Galaxy again, and I don't like the way that their wingers are playing. I don't like the way the attack feels at times. The defense has been inconsistent, and I think Dallas has an identity to them that they play with, and Galaxy doesn't have that. And I think at home, on top of that, I feel good about the Moose getting a couple of goals, a goal and assist in this one, and them taking care of business against the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I like Dallas in this one too. Um, they also are just going to be fresh. Galaxy did throw every. I mean, you got to put your best lineup
You have
out
to,
there
yeah.
against Toluca, so you can't fault them for that. But they're going to be tired. They're going to be on the road. Dallas is Dallas right now. Like you said, the Moose is loose. And don't forget Logan Farrington either. We haven't talked about fantasy in forever, but like I feel like Farrington's probably like a nice budget pick if you're playing that, which I do every now and then. But I'll admit I've not been week in and week out. But
MLS fantasy's dead. It
yeah,
is dead right now. No
yeah,
one talks about it.
we'll figure it out, you guys. We'll maybe make our own fantasy or something. Then
Kickbase maybe was the biggest swing and miss I've ever witnessed in my life.
yeah,
From
I mean, I don't know. I think they've got their little community. It's just like
sorry,
it's not
that was
very
harsh.
out
That was
there.
harsh. I
Yeah,
actually Kickbase, like when if you have the membership and everything, like when I had the trial,
yeah,
it's actually nice. Like it's quick, like it's really quick. You can do like 5-10
yeah.
minutes and it's nice, but I think there is a paywall there that still exists and it's
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
hey, it's the business. They got to make money. So,
you gotta make money.
um, the shareholders. Yeah, no, Dallas gonna really run away with this one. I think Galaxy are shorthanded. Glesnes has been hurt too, and I think that's really been kind of a kick in the nuts for the Galaxy as well
Mm-hmm.
because man, they just need that solidity in the back and have not been getting it. So, yeah, this is Dallas at home. No need to overthink it.
Yep, I agree. We've got two teams that played really well last week. Both got victories in big games, and that was Minnesota and Portland. Are coming off wins. Someone's got to give in this one. I don't think anything will. I think this is shared points written all over it. Actually, another draw. We're just the draw cast today, and I actually think Minnesota Portland's going to look good again in this one. I just believe in Minnesota being able to bunker down and just kind of like let them take shots from outside the box and just be okay with that. So I'm going to go draw, but I think Portland's going to be probably the more threatening team in my mind in this game.
So I don't know if you caught it, but James started in at Sacramento.
Really?
In the Open Cup. I don't know how many minutes he played, but he
How did
started.
I miss this?
Yeah. So that's an interesting little development to keep your eye on there.
Sure.
I played more minutes elsewhere than at home, but I
It's
guess you
just going
take
to
it
be the
as you
most
come.
nothing signing of all time. Like he's gone in 2 months.
I know. It's such a weird deal. Um, I think that I think that this is Minnesota's. I trust them more than Portland. Portland's going to be a little bit fresher, but Portland is on the road. I'm going to call those elements a wash right there. Um, I think that just Minnesota is. So here's what I Minnesota's low block I think is just too challenging for really the lack of production that um, Portland can kind of create with that. Assuming Veld starts, I mean he's a long range, shot merchant, but that's got to go through a crowd like that. That's just I don't think that's going to hit very well. There's going to be those half opportunities there, but I mean I don't think that he hits on that kind of rate. He is not Steph Curry. And then the rest of this Portland team, I just don't really trust to like break down that low block that Minnesota has. I think that they're a little bit more on the physical side. I think it's going to be harder to counter them and get in behind on them. But I just got to trust Minnesota at home, so I'm going to take Minnesota here.
Okay. Probably my favorite game of the week, if I had to pick one, is no, actually second favorite. What am I talking about? Sunday Night Soccer is awesome this week.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Uh,
Yeah.
we've got RSL at home versus San Diego. This is a game when San Diego needs bounce back. I mean, they're a team that they've been on a rough patch here, and they need points. We've got RSL who have just been playing so well early on this season. Tony, I need you to predict this one first because I'm really torn on the outcome of this game, and I want to hear your insight first before I make a prediction on this one.
Just look at their last 5 games, both of the teams here, because for RSL, I
Red
see.
card streak. I want it to live
Yeah,
on. By the way,
oh yeah, it has to. But like RSL, I see a bunch of green, 4 wins, 1 draw. For San Diego, I see 3 losses and 2 draws, and some of that was, balancing Concacaf. I can see an excuse for that, but they're out of it now. They've been out of it
dude,
for a little bit,
it might
and
be their worst stretch since they came into the MLS as a team.
honestly, that's not that far fetched of a statement there. So I just think that I don't know what the juice is here, but it just seems like whatever they're drinking, like it's not clicking the same way. And
Mhm.
I honestly think it's the lack of DPS that's catching up on them.
Oh yeah,
The team can be the hero a lot, but there's those moments where you need like a DP to be a hero to lift you above that, and they've kind of lost that. I think that in this kind of era of like the San Diego / Columbus Crew, like total football, like type play, it just kind of seems like people are figuring it out a little bit. And it was kind of like the Crew kind of fell off with injuries and some kind of slow transfer windows. So there's more to it than that. But San Diego, it felt very plug and play. Like outside of Anders Dreyer, it didn't matter who else was on that field. They'd figure it out, and that just does not feel like the case anymore. Anders Dreyer still been really good this season, but I think it is not quite MVP caliber at this moment. So I think that San Diego's taking a small step back, and I'm going to have RSL at home here. They're just hot.
hmm
Give
I'm
me
gonna do the
Drizzy.
same. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
the same. I feel much better about their attack currently and how it's looked, and at home I think there's gonna be a low energy in that stadium. So I'm going to go RSL as well.
Yeah.
Saturday night, last Saturday night game, we have Seattle at home versus St. Louis. Seattle, of course, coming off the midweek game where they played everybody. I think this is St. Louis's game for the taking. I think this is one where you just look at the names of the teams and if you're just like didn't know much about what's going on, you're like Seattle, of course. Now we've talked about St. Louis and what they've been doing lately, and I think this is a game that they are just prime for the taking in terms of at least a point out of this one on the road, and I could really see them getting all 3 points here because I think Seattle might get a little bit of zombie Seattle coming out there for this one.
I think I'm going to trust Seattle at home here. Definitely hear the shout there. I think for me, one of the big clicks was like against Tigres. I mean, Jordan Morris started, Jesus Ferreira started.
It's great to see them back.
Yes, and what's huge about that is we talked about like the theme of Seattle has been, hey, the backups ain't that bad. They're making it happen, and so I think that this is a moment that depth is being tested. However, you actually have your starters available, your A tier guys available. So maybe they don't start, maybe it's rotated, but then you're getting other MLS caliber players that are used to starting in matches like this. So I think that Seattle has to play like 2 to 3 weeks straight of like triple game weeks in order to kind of catch up to them with that wear and tear, unlike other teams, because they're just that deep. So I don't think that opportunity is there for St. Louis. They also had an Open Cup game, and being on the road, I just don't think that advantage is really there. So you fall back on who you trust, and for me, that's Seattle.
Let's get into Sunday Night Soccer here. We have LAFC who are playing San Jose at home. I don't know what LAFC we're going to see, like what kind of team after the midweek game. So it'll be interesting. They have been a team that throughout the season, it doesn't matter if they play midweek game or not. It feels like they just roll out everybody. Son, of course, still hasn't gotten that goal. Like it's kind of crazy that he still hasn't scored, and they've done this well. I mean, he's assisted on quite a few goals. Like he draws so much attention, so that alone is going to help the team. I don't know, man. This is gonna be a good game, and I think it's gonna depend on who's starting for LAFC in my mind, because I think San Jose could luck out and get a rotated squad to a degree and continue to keep it rolling. I'm gonna go draw. I think there will be some guys who get rotated in this LAFC squad, and I think San Jose can take advantage of that. I don't know, man. This is a great test. I think if you're just a neutral, like how for real San Jose, this is the biggest test they could get is this LAFC side in the Western Conference, interstate little game here. I think it's fun. I think it will be just a ton of fun to watch as a standalone game.
Yeah, Timo Werner played 45 minutes in the Open Cup. So I think you'll probably get to see an hour or so of him, probably starting against LAFC here too. Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup because talk about like pressing high. That's what San Jose is going to do. How immune is LAFC to that? Kind of tired, and we've used the sleepwalking term a little bit here. I mean, that's just it's prime for like one bad pass in the back or something. Like San Jose is going to be like a pack of wolves and probably punish you for that. So that's where it's tricky. Is I think LAFC is going to control the game, but San Jose is capable of grabbing that one or two moments that kind of really flip the trajectory.
Yeah. Two great defenses early on this year too. I mean, the two best. Seattle might be in there, but two of the best defenses early on this year.
So, and Orlando. Don't forget Orlando.
That's so mean, but I love it.
Only allowed one goal.
I needed that. That was a good chuckle I needed. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, it will be. I mean, it's just going to be. I think you're going to see the stars in this one. Former Spurs players going head to head. Timo and Sonny. That will be a fun neutral for me as I watch my team get relegated. So that's interesting. I don't know. I think it's exactly what you want out of a game like this on Sunday Night Soccer. Like to get a game that feels like it means something. for one team as like we're the top dog, and the other team going, hey, we want to challenge that. And
Yeah.
I think you're getting the darlings of the MLS early on this year, getting their first like real reality check, possibly in this game. So should be a ton of fun to watch.
We'll call it draw, I think. I don't know which way to go
Same.
on it, so I'm just going to stick in the middle.
Yeah, another one of those games I could see about 5 different results on how
Yeah.
this one ends. Okay, well that's gonna do it for the preview section. Of course, it wouldn't be a preview without our darling Stin's picks getting in here, giving us the insight we don't see. Tony, we don't see it. His brain works different. He knows how this works. He knows the MLS. And without further ado, let's get into Stin's pick.
Let's go a mile high where it's the championship version of the Spurs versus Messy Miami dead coach Bump. Fire meets fire, and I'm seeing goals. Dead coach Bump lives on. Colorado 2, Miami 3. Onward to the Bends, where Nashville SC and 2026 Admin of the Year frontrunner are no strangers to winning on the road. The Kings of Mexico City keep the ball rolling. Atlanta 0, Nashville 2. We've got number 10 Dallas fighting to stay alive in PJ's power rankings. And this LA Galaxy side who is struggling to keep their playoff hopes alive. Dallas is too dynamic and will send Eli Lesser spiraling further. Dallas 4, LA Galaxy 2. It will be far from a quiet night in Sandy. San Diego is feeling blue from injuries and red cards. Tony can't match colors, but he sure knows a thing or two about red, blue, and Sandy dominance. Call up Gozo. RSL 3, San Diego 1. Don Garber surely has outdone himself with this matchup on Sunday Night Soccer. Number 3 versus number 2 in a showdown of the season. Who's going to be the Preston Judge second best dog in the West? Sunny's time to shine. LAFC 2, San Jose 1.
Okay, thank you, Stin, for the great insight as always. Honestly, I said pretty on par with our picks. Like good, same reasoning for a lot of them too. Maybe not your matching of colors and some of the other insight like that. But he said like Spurs comments. He said dead manager bump for Miami. Like there was a lot of similarity in our picks here, and I feel good. That makes me feel good about my picks when we're all aligned here. We're seeing the board well.
Man, just hearing red, blue, and sandy makes me that feels like RSL in my heart, you know? Like that's pretty epic. But maybe I need to stop playing dialed in at work and actually pay attention when I do it, and I'll get some better scores and not get dragged out here. But no, I think his picks are good. Yeah, there's not really much to disagree with here. He went all the way on LAFC though for 3 points at home. That's going to be interesting. If they win, like whoever wins this game, I think, they have a strong argument for number 1 on the power rankings next week is whoever wins this. But if it's a draw, then they probably stay where they're at. But yeah, that I don't think there's anything too far out there for him. So we'll see where we're at. He did have Nashville. He believes in Nashville against Atlanta on the road, 2-0 as well. So. I'd be surprised if we got that score line, but I'll.
Hey, he was aligned with me. I said they'd win too.
Yeah, but a clean sheet on the road.
Orlando stinks.
Well, yeah, but sometimes a squirrel, you know.
Sorry, Orlando fans. You might just. I mean, let's be honest. No Atlanta fans are listening to podcasts about the MLS right now.
Well, you were talking about Atlanta, right? You said.
Oh, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Regardless, either or.
He stayed away from that.
Neither of them are
game.
listening to any MLS related content right now.
Actually, if Stin's gonna call me out, I'm gonna call him out back. You should have put a prediction on Orlando Houston, you coward.
True.
You know, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, tune in for the next episode. We'll be back on Tuesday doing the power rankings and recapping all of our games. If you're on Spotify, hit the follow button. We post here every Tuesday and Friday. But we appreciate you guys. Enjoy your MLS Sicko weekend, watching all the games. And we're a month and a half away from the World Cup. We've only got like 5 or 6 weeks here left of MLS games before we jump into the World Cup and go on a little break again. But with that being said, we will see you guys on Tuesday.
See you.